Okay. Hello, and welcome to the 26 classics that I want to read in 2026. Yeah, this one's going to be a big one. I do have a stack of the classics next to me that I can go through, but in reality, I just want to read more classics just in general. So if I could read 26 classics of any type, I think I'm going to be very successful. This is going to lead into a lot of the personal curriculum stuff that I'm doing since I'm trying to do, literary degree style personal curriculum. And so this is just going to add on to that. I do plan on reading the normal fantasy, romance, general fiction, horror type of stuff on the side. I am hoping that I'll be able to put together an updated version of my monthly TBR game to help pick that so that I can do casual reading in addition to this. But I do kind of want this to be a bigger focus since I am trying to get better at writing articles and doing research and doing all of that kind of academic deep analysis of existing books, which is a lot easier to do for classics because so many people have been doing it. So you can join in on conversations that already exist versus when we have our modern ones, there's a lot less conversation happening because they're just new. So I am hoping to focus on this and then bring that into modern reading in the future is kind of the plan. But yeah, I'm super excited about it. I guess let's get into the books that I ended up picking. And then I do have an update for the channel. So if you watched my last video and you're like, oh God, what's going on? I'll give that at the end, but I do want to kind of focus on fun stuff. So, like I said, these are the books that I'm hoping to read in 2026, but I actually don't care if I read these books specifically. I have a ton of classics that I haven't read yet, so there's a good chance that some of these will be swapped out with something else depending on how the year goes and my focuses changes and stuff like that, but I thought it would still be fun to have kind of a it'd be good to read these, if nothing else, if something better doesn't come along or whatever. But the first book we have is The House of Mirth by Edith Wharton. This one, I believe, I was thinking it's gothic, but it says it's a black comedy of manners about vast wealth and a woman who can define herself only through the perception of others. Now, I do pick a lot of these books that I have, either just because I'm very familiar with the, name or the author or something like that, or in this case, I'm pretty sure I picked it for one of my personal curriculums. Like as I was researching that, it kind of popped up, but now I'm not entirely sure what relations it is to anything. So hopefully that'll come back to me when I pick it up. Then in horror, I wanted to read Shirley Jackson's We Have Always Lived in the Castle. This is a big fave for people. I did end up reading The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson this year, and so I didn't love it. So I'm a little bit nervous to pick this up, but so many people like it that I'm like, I am interested and I have it, so I might as well read it. I do have a couple of Shakespeare's, so I want to read The Tempest, Othello, which I've read before, so this would be a reread, but it's been a really long time, and Hamlet, which is another one that I'm pretty sure I read in school, but it's been a long time. Oh, and sorry, The Taming of the Shrew. I'm really excited about this because 10 Things I Hate About You, I believe, is based off of this. And I do have a collection of other shrew stories because there's this one, there's an unknown author one, and then there's a sequel that somebody else made. And I'm interested in all of them. It seemed pretty fascinating. And there's some negative connotations around the idea and what actually happened here, which is kind of sad because I did really like 10 Things I Hate About You, when I was younger. So I don't know, interested to see that. Then I have North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. This one is just one of those ones that I heard, oh, you should read this, and I have no clue what it's about. At the back, it says, how am I to dress up in my finery and go off and away to smart parties after the sorrow I have seen today? So that's a really interesting concept, having to kind of go on with life even when horrible things happen. I have no clue if that's really what's going on there, but it's a recommended in the classics, so I want to try it out. And I do know more about some of these than others, but since I have such a big list, I'm going through them really quick, so bear with me. Then I have Beyond Good and Evil by Friedrich Nietzsche. This is a philosophical text. I do actually really enjoy philosophy, but I don't like read much of it or explore it nearly as much as I would like, considering how interested I am in it. I do love the idea of, well, just the idea of the gray area in between good and evil, where is things actually exist. We tend to try and make things very black and white when there's a lot of nuance to things. And so I would like to see some philosophical discussions on that, because it's an area that I feel like I'm relatively passionate about. Then I have a couple of books that I want to try reading in February, because I read exclusively by Black authors in February. And so I have The Morrow of Tradition by Charles W. Chestnut. But yeah, this one, it's really just because I want to read some classics, some more classics from non-white authors, because unfortunately that's a majority of the classics, and I do like reading diversely, and doing this means that I won't be doing that as much unless I go out of my way. We then have George S. Schuler's Black Empire, which I believe is a science fiction, Afrofuturism and anti-racist fiction, story of Black genius against the world. So I'm pretty interested in that one. I'm not a big sci-fi person, so I'm also really nervous about it, but it's funny because I tend to love the sci-fi books that I do actually read, so I don't know why I'm so afraid of the genre. But yeah, that I've had that on my shelf for a hot minute, and I've kind of been putting it off because of that. Then we have Right by My Side by David Haynes. And this one is a coming of age story about a Black teenager, family love and obligation, and the everyday struggle of growing up in the 80s. So admittedly, not super excited about this one, but I do have it on my shelf, so I want to read it. I don't know. It's funny because I'm like wishy-washy about coming of age books, but again, I would like to also experience some diversity. Then I do have My Bondage and My Freedom by Frederick Douglass. I ended up getting this as a gift, I think last year, and I've been wanting to read it because I'm really interested in Black history, honestly. Just like, let's be clear. But yeah, I want to get into that. I know there are a couple of books like that exist, and I feel like this is definitely one that is talked about a lot. So I would like to read it and learn more about, the infamous Frederick Douglass. Then I have The Odyssey, which I've already started technically. This is a reread, although in the process of starting it, I realized that when I read it in high school, I'm pretty sure we didn't read everything. I think we read certain parts of it, which I think is like a popular thing to do. So I do want to read the whole thing. And because I'm a big fan of the epic, the musical thing that was created, inspired by the Odyssey, and maybe also the Iliad. I know it starts where the Iliad ends and then it goes into the Odyssey basically. So I would like to do like a comparison of the two, and I'm really excited about that. Then I want to do a reread of Animal Farm by George Orwell, because I also want to do my first read of his 1984 by George Orwell. I also have like some collection of essays by him that I want to read. I have read some because I was doing some for the Charles Dickens personal curriculum stuff in December. And so I have read a little bit of that. And yeah, I don't know. I want to read some more stuff that is really prevalent to right now, even though I am a little bit nervous about that. Then I want to do a reread of The Great Gatsby because, I don't know, basically all of the stuff that I read in high school, I feel like I just didn't get as much out of it then as I would now, and I would like to annotate everything, which is another big thing for these 26 books. I'm hoping that I'll be like deeply annotating, analyzing, and just like really getting into them. Then I have Beowulf, which I don't know. I have it. I remember watching the movie a long time ago. Don't remember much about it. Still interested. Heart of Darkness and Other Tales by Joseph Conrad. That one actually is tied to something else Interested in reading it, don't know much about it. Hopefully that'll be a fun thing that you guys will see in the future. I do want to read The Black Tulip by Alexander Dumas. I have read Alexander Dumas recently and really enjoyed his writing, so I would like to read more from him, especially considering that he is a mixed Black man, which is really exciting. Then, because I'm really into Gothic literature, I do want to read The Tenet of Wilfell Hall by Anne Bronte. I really want to read everything from the Bronte sisters. I've read Wuthering Heights and I started Jane Eyre, but I'm putting that one on hold until it gets picked up for something else. So that might be one of those books that gets swapped in, hopefully. Because I do really want to read it this year, but I don't know if it's going to come up. Then I do have Paradise Lost. I am going to be participating in the Gutenberg Bible's read along for this, where basically we'll be reading one of the 12 chapters or 12 books each month, which I guess is like 200 lines a month. So it's like really easy and manageable. And so, yeah, I'll be participating in that. I'm really excited because this has come up as inspiration for several different things and or is mentioned in several different things. So I think this would be a good foundational book to read. I realize there's several things like that I want to get into. So these are not in order of when I want to read them, because there are some at the very end that I think I want to read early on so that they will be beneficial for me reading other things that have influence from them. And this is one of those, but it's going to take me all year to read it. So that's kind of a bummer. Like I partially just want to jump into it. I guess in all honesty, I don't have to read it on the same time frame. I could really read it early, like read the whole thing and then follow along still. There's nothing that stops me from doing that. Okay, then we have Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, the 1818 text. I do want to read this. This is another one of those foundational ones specifically for the Gothic literature. I definitely want to do some more personal curriculum focuses on Gothic literature, so I definitely want to jump into that. The Turn of the Screw, I want to read this one by Henry James. It's a short one, horror. I love horror. I don't know. I love that there is horror within a lot of things in here. So I'm excited about that. Then Jane Austen's Northanger Abbey. Northanger? I don't know. Northanger Abbey. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I'm pretty sure this is a Gothic satire, and I'm really interested in that. So this is another foundational one, although I do want to read some of the other ones first. So I think that will be really fun. I'm so excited about all of these reads, you guys. You don't even know, because I've been having fun already. I have a couple of articles that are in progress that I'm like, it'd be so much more beneficial for me to read more to really flesh out some of these things. Oops. Sorry, my stack of books just fell over. But so I really just want to read more so that the ideas and the conversations and the articles that I want to write have just more substance to them. I'm doing right now these notes on the books. So the first one I've done was for A Christmas Carol, which I reread recently. And that was a lot of fun. I was just going through the notes and annotations and like talking through why I picked them, what they inspired, and, you know, different thoughts on things in addition to some of my thoughts on the actual story itself. So I do plan on doing that for everything. And then hopefully in like a couple of months, a couple of cycles, as I read more of these to start comparing other things too, I'll be able to do some more deeper analytical articles and essays in the future. And I have a couple like that I'm excited about and working on already, but I'm getting ahead of myself. The last two books are ones that I actually want to start off with. I do hope to read The Castle of Otranto by Horace Walpole. I feel so bad. I just butchered the shit out of his name. I'm so sorry, sir. But this is the first ever Gothic novel, or it is believed to be the first ever Gothic novel. It's from 1764, and I'm super interested. So we have this one as the first one, and then following that, we have The Monk by Matthew Lewis as the second one. These ones, as far as I'm aware, are a little bit more horror instead of terror. So I do also have Anne Radcliffe's The Mysteries of Udolpho, which I also want to read with these, but it's a lot thicker. So part of me was all like, I should try and make the books that I have here more manageable. Because if I'm really trying to read 26 books in 2026, I need them to be relatively small, but we'll see. I do want to read this because this is more of the Gothic terror, and Anne Radcliffe is known to be the queen of Gothic. So I feel like it's important for me to read her, even though she's not particularly popular anymore. So it's kind of hard getting your hands on some of her books, which is a little bit sad. So that's it for the general plan that I have for the classics that I want to read. I am doing a post on this as well, which is mostly just going to be talking about the general idea, the fact that I want to read more classics in 2026, and that's really all this is about instead of the specific books. I do have a ton of books that I'm really interested in diving into. I know for sure I will be reading some of these, but there's a whole bunch of other stuff that I'm excited to explore and read as well. So I don't know what everything's going to look like in the grand scheme of things because it's very likely that things are going to shift and change and, just like look different as time goes on. So yeah, I'm really excited about this. I guess it's a good time for me to jump into the updates. As you guys know, I've had a very unfortunate 2025 where, I don't know, things just seem super cursed. I have had a really amazing bout of luck. My computer is still broken. It was very officially broken, so that's unfortunate. I did manage to set up my laptop to use in place, so I do have a computer that technically works better than the first one, so silver lining. I had a whole bunch of issues with my hard drive with all of the video footage that I have accumulated over the lifetime. Everything. It was everything. Now, I'm pretty sure I have them backed up somewhere else that's like really hard for me to access, but I didn't have to look into that because I got really, really lucky. And after some fiddling and messing around and trying to figure out what was going on, it just started working. I got access back to my files, and I have been working on backing up certain things again. I really should look into the other one because I do think I have a backup of everything, but don't want to risk it. So I'm backing it up in a way that it's easier for me to access. And then I'm updating the way that I edit my videos so that I have a separate place already duplicated. So if this happens again, it doesn't stop the progress of the things that I'm working on while I'm trying to sort through, fix, and go through other things. So it's just going to make sure that I constantly have backups of everything as part of the system. So yes, that's really exciting. Unfortunately, I'm really, really behind on editing because it took a while to go through all of this. I am also sick still. I'm feeling a lot better, except I have like a really weird cough. Even though most of the cold seems to be gone, that part has gotten worse, and it's mostly at night and in the morning. So I don't know. I'm really hoping I don't get walking pneumonia again, because that's what happened last year when I got sick for a while, and I've been, getting over this cold for a hot minute. So I definitely am really behind on my editing. So it's going to be a little minute. I'm going to focus on editing this first so that you can get it up. And then I want to try and see if I can finish the travel vlog and maybe even still do the Dickens vlog, even though it's very Christmassy. I think one of the things that sucks right now is I'm feeling this level of indecision because I've missed all of the timing that I wanted to do everything, and several of them are seasonal. So I'm feeling like, oh, I shouldn't do it, but then I mention it in other things. So it's like, I should just do it. Like I already filmed it. This is one of those situations that I usually just scrap everything and start fresh because it's a lot of work to go through everything else, especially with the messy way I've had to duplicate and copy and move things and all of that. So yes, I got everything. It's not as bad as it was when I had posted. It was an issue, and it did take a minute to fix everything, but it ended up working. I have access to everything, but now it's just been kind of a cleaning everything up and figuring things out, and also, just trying to not be super frustrated by everything. So I do hope to have some fun videos for you in the near future. I have been loving the 1 days at a time. I'm glad you guys have been enjoying it too. Thank you so much for all of the love and support just in general. Thank you also for those of you who have been joining the Substack where I've been posting stuff. I know it's not a lot. I'm still getting in the hang of things, getting in the swing of things. It is free to join. So if you are interested in seeing like a written out version of the personal curriculums, I am also thinking of doing like reviews of how the like month went and stuff like that. So there's like an official one for that as well. And then also posting articles based off of stuff. So like I said, I do have the notes on for a Christmas Carol, and I hope to do that for all of the other classics that I end up reading and some of the non-classics, because there are definitely some books that I've been reading that I think would be really nice to do a dive into, but I don't exactly know if I'm going to do that, which ones I'm going to do, I don't know. I'm also thinking for my 1 day at a time, I have a whole bunch of books that I finished that I haven't put anywhere, so it might be nice to start talking about some of the books that I've read recently, even if I don't actually read it in that particular one, so that there can be constant book talk happening even when I'm focusing on other stuff. So that's something that I'm thinking about doing. There's lots of plans and ideas and experimenting that I hope to do. Right now, it's really just like figuring out the time and energy to edit the videos that I have, which I don't know why I'm feeling so off about with everything that had happened. I think part of it was that massive fear of thinking that I lost everything. But yeah, it's a little weird how much I'm resisting it right now. I think part of me is afraid that it's still not working, even though technically it is working right now. So I do have to get past that so that I can post stuff. Obviously, I should be over it once you get this, because I would have edited this one. But I do find I'm having more of an issue with some of the existing older things, the beginning of this month. Anyway, I'm rambling at this point. Thank you so much. Let me know what you're reading or what you're super excited about reading in 2026. And yeah, I will catch you in the next one. Until then, bye.